Can anybody hear me? Can you see me? Anybody there yet? Oh, thumbs up. Okay.
I can hear you. You're good.
Okay, cool. All right, now I need to do this. There you go. I have a full screen. This is the way I usually look. I usually don't have my face showing. Anybody hear me? Can you see me? I can't hear you there yet. Oh, that's me, as I'm hearing myself repeating back. An echo here, an echo. Wow. I'm turning off my, let me see.
Well, Sylvia, you know that's the first sign of something wrong. You're talking and answering.
Talking to myself?
Just so you know.
Well, I didn't expect to hear myself back.
That's true.
Okay, now, let's see.
If everybody will just stay on mute until we get ready to start, we'll be starting pretty soon.
I know you shut me down trying to keep me from talking to people, but I was looking to see if the agenda was sent, but I don't see it. Was it sent? And I just can't find it.
I just wrote to Myra. She said it was becoming momentarily via email there.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm not crazy. All right,
Yep.
thanks. All right.
Hi, Sylvia. This is Doug Jackson. So it looks like it just came from Vicky Crow to everybody. So hopefully you should all be receiving the agenda shortly.
Good afternoon, committee. I'm sure somebody said something back to me, but you're muted.
They muted us. I laughed, Arletta. I laughed because they muted me. They muted me because they didn't want to hear me talking. They muted me. So when you said good morning, good afternoon, committee, all I could do was laugh. That's all I could do. All I could do.
That obviously has changed, Madam Chair.
Okay,
Sylvia, just as an FYI, the reason I muted you is because even though we're not broadcasting on the website, we are broadcasting right now on YouTube. So if anybody happens upon it, they could hear the conversation.
Well, you know, it was okay because all I was doing was saying, look, you know, Maurice was seeing Jack Shea. And he says, I thought Jack Shea retired. I said, he did. So did I. Maurice hasn't seen Jack in a while. So, you know, it was like saying hi.
And he still looks good.
Yes, he does. Absolutely.
And Jack, we are going to give you the opportunity to unmute and participate. That's coming. So
Well, no. I was going to say to limit Sylvia's coffee maybe like an hour before. If we could.
Wait a minute. You think this is coffee?
I'm hoping. I don't know.
I don't drink coffee. I have no caffeine in me at all, okay? No chocolate, nothing. This is just me. Usually you see me nice and quiet. I'm sorry. Sometimes I'm not. This is one of those days.
That's a good thing.
no problem whatsoever. You be.
Can you hear me yet?
Yeah,
I can hear you,
sir.
Jack.
And,
I can hear you.
We can.
Okay.
When you
'Cause I
guys
got to-
are ready to start, please let me know.
Well, we're
I'm gonna go.
Sure. It's 2:04. I think we're ready.
We are going to start. Give me just a second.
Sure.
Madam Chair, you have the meeting.
Okay, cool. All right, welcome everyone. This is the Professional Services Committee meeting. This is January 14th, 2021. Could we please have a roll call?
Sure. Mr. O'Connor? Mr. O'Connor?
I know he's here somewhere.
I actually don't see him anymore.
We may have lost them.
We might have lost him. Okay.
All right,
Welcome back.
Mr. Shea?
Here.
Miss Wilson?
Here. Okay, Corey will probably come back on. We can information items.
Yes, ma'am.
Arletta, go ahead.
Our first item is an informational item, and it's another part of this long enduring saga that it has taken to come to our tunnel program. As you are aware, you awarded the tunnel program management contract last meeting, and you're going to take action to authorize the fee for that service. But of course, there are components under that program specific to each of the three main tunnel segments. The Ohio, see, I really want to call it what I called it yesterday, but that's probably not a good idea. The Ohio River Tunnel segment will be first up, and we wanted to brief the committee before we requested qualifications. That will be coming before you for action in March. Right now, but as the Director of Engineering and Construction, Kim Kennedy, to give you an overview of what's going to be requested and required. Kim?
All right, thank you, Arletta. So as Arletta said, this will be the first of 3 tunneling contracts, and this one will start at the plant. This RFQ will be for the final design of not only the tunnel segment, but also all of the associated consolidation sewers. It's a very big job. The RFQ isn't scheduled to go out until March, but I did want to give the committee a chance to think about it, look at it, and come back and make sure that you didn't have any questions on this project. So not only is the final design team going to be responsible for the biddable plans and specifications, but they need to do modeling. They need to have agreements, access agreements for borings for this work, and they will be working quite closely with the tunnel program manager that Arletta alluded to earlier. So about 7 miles, 2 river crossings, and this is it. This is the first phase. So if you have any questions now, I'd be happy to answer them, but I'd also be happy to take them at any time as you think about it between now and when this goes out.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kim.
Okay. All right. So any questions from Corey or Jack?
No, not for me. I mean, we don't have nothing in front of us.
Yeah, we've been waiting for such a long time for
Yes.
this to start. It's just like, wow. It's almost hard to believe that we're getting to this point. Wow. All right. So we'll move on now to the action items. Item A, the motion to recommend the awarding of the new access shaft manholes near A40 and M49. It's called Project S474, and we're going to award this to Hatch and authorize the executive director to negotiate the fee. Arletta?
Madam Chair, this has gone through the traditional procurement process where 3 firms were shortlisted by the committee. We took receipt of proposals, sat for presentations, and the recommendation for these new access shafts is for Hatch. The shafts are required for just what it indicates, additional access to our interceptor system.
Okay, I'm just visualizing them from our visits to Cleveland and Washington, D.C. I'm just visualizing these shafts that sound little, but there's nothing little about them whatsoever. Okay, could I have a motion and a second to approve item A, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item B, the motion to recommend the awarding of the underground utility locating services to T2 utility engineers and to authorize the executive director to negotiate a fee. Arletta?
Madam Chair, up to this point, we have, for the most part, relied on in-house capacity to be able to identify any potential impacts to our underground utilities where others have to work, and likewise, vice versa, to respond to those. Anybody over a certain age will remember 1-800-CALL Kathy before you dig. We are no longer going to be able to do that reliably with internal resources. There, from my perspective, there's entirely too much liability associated with it, particularly as we expand our responsibility for services outside the gate, as we like to say, outside or external to the plant, moving into the transfer of multi-municipal trunks. Again, gives us a completely new responsibility, and we need to have somebody else provide this service. Other utilities use an external resource. That's the recommendation here as well.
If there's no questions, could I have a motion to approve and a second, please?
So moved. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion is carried. Item C, a motion to recommend the service authorization for Jacobs under the agreement for engineering consultant services for an amount not to exceed $19,152,308 to perform the scope of services under capital program S475, the tunnel program management. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, as we had previously discussed, this is the follow-up to the award the board made in December. We have negotiated what I believe is an excellent fee and recommend that you would move forward. I will once again ask Kim, Director of Engineering and Construction, to just briefly remind the committee what Jacobs will be doing. Kim?
Thank you, Arletta. So after the award in December, we opened up the cost proposals and we've been negotiating pretty carefully since then, up until earlier this week. This is very important. So the tunnel program manager will be our oversight for each of the tunnel design consultants. They will do the design reviews. They will help us with some additional field work to verify a lot of additional field work to help verify questions that still remain. And obviously the conditions are ever changing out there. They will provide consistency for the entire implementation of the outside the fence implementation of the clean water plan. So it is, we do think that this fee is fair, and it encompasses what we believe our needs will be for the next 5 years. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
All right, I'm hearing no questions. So could I have a motion and a second to approve item C, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sylvia, I have a question. Can I go back to B?
Yes.
I couldn't get it out quick enough. If I understood our letter, some of the utilities are going to be taken outside the gates and done by a subcontractor. What kind of impact does that have on the workers at ALCOSAN? Or it doesn't have an impact?
So this is for identifying where utilities exist outside of the gate. And yes, there are ALCOSAN employees who have performed those functions, but there's no impact to them. It was not a significant part of their overall job. More of a every once in a while type scenario.
All right, I just had that lingering in my mind, and that's dangerous for me.
I knew that. I didn't think it was lingering. I was surprised that I didn't get it when we first started, that you didn't throw yourself on the screen.
I've been at the home quarantine for a lot of months. You know, not as fast as I once was.
I can't imagine you losing a step, Jack.
No, I hope I didn't lose a step, maybe half a step, you know. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sorry for the interruption.
That's okay. We like to have questions if necessary. We want to make sure everything is clear.
Okay.
All right, we'll move to item D. Motion to recommend the service authorization for Hillcrest Group LLC under the agreement for engineering consultant services to perform the scope of services for air compliance support for an amount not to exceed $84,320. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, not surprisingly, there are agencies, regulatory agencies specifically, who are interested in the air that is emitted from this plant, and not strictly for odor purposes. That would be the presumption of many, but there's a requirement and I would say additional requirements that we have not found ourselves in a circumstance to have to address for quite some time, that are associated with the plant expansion. So we were in need of somebody to perform this service. I would ask the Director of Operations and Maintenance and the esteemed Deputy Executive Director, Douglas, to enlighten us all.
Thank you, Arletta. Committee members, good afternoon. So Kim and her staff, Michelle Buys, and some of her staff and myself over the past several months have had some conversations with the Air Compliance Division of the Health Department. Many of those discussing plant improvements. And in addition to that, we also are soon to be receiving a Title V operating permit for all of the emissions at the site. As part of that process, they have requested that the annual emissions inventory that we submit, that we've been using factors that were calculated 25 years ago, be updated. So there is a need for us to determine for all of our processes that we currently have on site what the emissions values and factors are. So in anticipation of that, as well as discussions with the health department with regard to some of the plant expansion, it was anticipated with the plant expansion there will be modifications on the odor control side, which were anticipated, but as the health department, at their request, when they realized that there were additional sources of emissions, most of them outdoor tanks, they also requested just a general evaluation of those sources that are outside of the scope of the odor control. So for those two tasks, because they tie into each other, we were compelled to find a firm that could just help guide us through that process and also provide some testing services to update us to some current emissions values. So the Hillcrest Group, a county firm, we solicited a proposal from them. They have extensive experience working with the county health department as well as the state on all things air emissions related. And they also have a very good working relationship with both of those regulatory bodies as well. So we solicited proposal from them that includes testing. So we are requesting approval for the fee that you see in front of you for the Hillcrest Group that will take us over several months time frame. We'll likely do testing in the summer, and they will also help us in the spring of 2022 ultimately submit a current plan in compliance with some of the Title V requirements. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Thank you, Douglas.
Thank you. Hearing no questions, could I have a motion and a second to approve, please?
Yes, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item E is a motion to recommend modification of service authorization 302 for Jacobs Engineering Group Incorporated to extend their green infrastructure source control program management role as, for an additional year for an amount not to exceed $992,742. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, I'm sure that Jack, who is always thinking, is saying, boy, I could have swore they just were doing tunnels for a really big number. They do tunnels and they do green? My goodness, that's a game changer. I would remind the committee, and when we come to the public meeting with the board, I'll remind the board as well that the program management piece for green that we're talking about here was originally awarded to CH2 and Hill. Jacobs acquired CH2 and Hill, so had been independent service or independent firms. This is a continuation of service, those program management services, similar to what you had done for AECOM a few months ago for the regionalization PM. Only again, this is for the green portion. Jacobs will continue to provide oversight for that program, and it is a program. It's a component of the overall larger clean water program, but it is a separate piece that now has on-call consultants that work under that piece, under that designation. Jacobs will manage them, will continue to participate with the rollout of controlling the source and working with our municipalities. And again, it is for a 1-year duration.
Okay, thank
Somehow you got muted again, Sylvia.
All right. Okay, I was saying, thank you so much. And if there are no questions or comments, I'd like to have a motion and a second to approve, please.
So moved.
Well, Corey disappeared, so I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item F, motion to recommend modification of service authorization 309 for WRA to continue the support to the O&M building leaks project throughout the construction phase for an amount not to exceed $13,500. Arletta?
Madam Chair, I should have pointed out that these last 3 items are modifications of pre-existing service authorizations. And as you read, it's fairly straightforward. The water incursion in the O&M facility continues to be addressed, and we require their services.
Thank you. All right, Jack, you're going to move it, and I will.
I move it.
And I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item G.
Harry would be proud.
Yeah. Item G, the motion to recommend modification of service authorization 356 for Wade Trim to complete a hydraulic model of ALCOSAN's effluent flushing water system for an amount not to exceed $12,830. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, the board is very familiar with the fact that where we can, we reuse water that we've treated to a particular point, as opposed to overusing potable water sources. Our fluid flushing water system is a critical component of what we do here in terms of using and reusing water. But it's also something that's just kind of worked for a long time without much thought. This will provide an opportunity to dig into the system a little more to create the hydraulic model and give us a better sense of what we're working with. And it is a modification to work that was already assigned to Wade Trim.
Okay, thank you. Jack, you have a question or anything,
No
comment?
questions.
Okay, then Jack moves and I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries for item G. Okay, or is there any new business today?
No, ma'am, we have
Nope.
nothing.
Except we have to congratulate that you have a new person on staff now,
Oh,
right?
goodness, yes. Oh, wow.
We don't have to wait until a later meeting. We can do it right now.
Right, we can, drum roll, confetti. Myra Prater, our new executive assistant, who just looks so lovely on camera. And as good as she looks on camera, she's far better in her execution of duties and just the spirit that she brings to the position. Myra, say hello to the people.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Happy New Year, all of that good stuff. My name is Myra Prater. I am a City of Pittsburgh lifetime resident, and I am super excited to be a part of the team and truly blessed to work with Arletta. So I'm ready to get it done. Let's get it started.
Well, thank you. Well, we welcome you on board. Welcome you on board. You look like you've been here for a long time already. You fit right in. Fit right in. You do.
That's good. That's good
Yep.
stuff.
Well said, Madam Chair.
Okay.
said.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. I hope the new year has come in pretty well for most of you or all
Yep.
of you. I mean, we've had some lumps and bumps along the way. So continue to stay as safe as possible. And we'll talk with you soon, later this month.
You as well.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Meeting adjourned.